Black Squad, what's going on, man? I'm gonna do this video on my way to work. Just found out about this fight last night, man. I got some thoughts on the fight, They say better late than never, right? You know, better late than never. But, I mean, this is like 10, 15 years late. So, that's the issue. And, for those of you who, are a little more familiar with boxing than MMA, this is kind of like the Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight, kind of. You know what I mean? But it's still an interesting fight. It's an interesting fight because it's a fight that fight fans always wanted. We used to sit in barbershops and talk about the what ifs of the fight. Of course, fight fans online were always talking about it. You know what? Hold on. Let me put my cigarette out. So yeah, man, I mean, it's an interesting fight. Like they say, styles make fights. Both of these women have, two totally different backgrounds in the fight game, two totally different styles. Ronda Rousey with her judo and jiu-jitsu background and her grappling style of fighting, and then you got Gina on the other side with her background in Muay Thai. It's all gonna come down to a matter of who comes in with a more effective game plan, who wants it more, who Father Time has been kinder to, which I would suspect that Father Time has probably been more kind to Gina than Ronda, for the fact that judo and jiu-jitsu can be held on the joints. Judo and jiu-jitsu can be held on the joints, and Ronda Rousey, hasn't been in the octagon in, a decade now? Gina, much longer. Last time we saw Gina in the octagon, she was getting her head knocked off by Chris Cyborg, but that's nothing to be ashamed of. Chris Cyborg is hands down the most violent female fighter ever. Ever. I'm talking boxing and MMA. Chris Cyborg is violent. And listen, I'm not saying Chris Cyborg is the greatest female fighter of all time. That's not what the hell I said. So don't twist my words. I'm saying she's the most violent female fighter of all fucking time. That woman is violent. Amanda Nunes, Amanda Nunes had to beat Chris Cyborg off of her before she could beat her. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Amanda made it look easy. Well, wasn't nothing easy about it. Wasn't nothing easy about it. Not at all. So, her loss to Chris Cyborg is nothing to be ashamed of. Especially at that time, Chris Cyborg was still pretty much in her fucking prime. You know, so nothing to be ashamed of there at all. And, you know, the last time we saw Ronda Rousey in the octagon, Amanda Nunes was playing whack-a-mole with her fucking face. You know what I'm saying? So, the last time we saw both of these women, it wasn't under the most fortunate set of circumstances, you know. But here's how I think the fight is going to go. First of all, there's going to be a battle within the battle. Because again, like I said, styles make fights. Styles make fights. So when you look at Ronda Rousey style versus Gina Carano style, we're talking judo and jiu-jitsu and grappling versus a fighter who has a Muay Thai background and also is a very good striker. Gina Carano is a very good striker, knows how to string her punches together. And her Muay Thai background is going to give her an advantage that a lot of fighters do not have when they're fighting Ronda Rousey. If Gina Carano can use that Muay Thai clinch to stifle or stop Ronda Rousey from getting, you know, a good position and a good grip on her to, you know, show us all that famous hip toss of hers. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be a very big problem for Ronda Rousey. A very big problem. I don't think Ronda Rousey has ever knocked anybody out. I don't think Ronda Rousey has ever stopped anybody with her fists. If Ronda Rousey can't get you to the ground and submit you, it's basically a foregone conclusion from there. It's basically a foregone conclusion from there. And see, the thing with Gina Carano that I would say separates her from Amanda Nunes, or, you know, the difference between the two of them is Amanda Nunes is a much more skilled striker than Gina Carano. The way, when you take a look at the two losses that Ronda Rousey had in that octagon against Holly Holm, where Holly Holm damn near kicked Ronda Rousey's head off her shoulders, and Amanda Nunes, where Amanda Nunes damn near punched Ronda Rousey's head off her shoulders. What you have to notice about Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes is they are the type of strikers that are very good at keeping their opponent on the end of their strikes. In other words, they understand spacing. They understand spacing. They understand the length of their reach versus the length of their opponent's reach. And they're very good at utilizing space, getting in and out of their opponent's reach without getting hit, and jumping back into range, utilizing their reach to hit their opponent again without getting hit. So when you have an opponent like Ronda Rousey standing in front of you, you know, if you're Amanda Nunes or you're Holly Holm, and you've got an opponent like Ronda Rousey standing in front of you, it's not a very difficult fight. Ronda has to get in. She can't fight. Ronda Rousey can't fight. Okay, she can't throw her fucking hands. Oh my fucking God, man. Yo. Fucking hate when people do that shit, man. Come up all fast on the... Oh, man. Anyway. So, see, but that's a difference. Gina Carano, she's not a striker who really utilizes space and keeps her opponent on the end of her jab or on the end of her punches, on the end of her strikes. That's not really how Gina Carano fights. Again, that Muay Thai background, she's almost always coming forward. And if you watch her when she throws her punches, she likes to leave herself in a position to utilize that Muay Thai clinch should she choose to. But see, now offensively, that might work for her. But defensively, against a jiu-jitsu master, and make no fucking mistake, say what you want to say about Ronda Rousey, and you know, she can't throw her fucking hands, and she's not a likable person, and she's arguably the most disliked person in UFC history, blah, blah, blah. Say what the fuck you want to say, but if that fucking woman grabs your ass, gets you to the fucking ground, and slaps that fucking armbar on you, it's good the fuck night. Betty bye-bye. The kids are going to bed. Game over. That woman is a jiu-jitsu master. You know what the fuck she's trying to do. You still can't stop her. So say what the fuck you want to say about Ronda Rousey, but don't take nothing away from her. So Gina Carano, again, though she's a great striker, having that Muay Thai background, when she throws her strikes, she likes to be right there up on her opponent. And if you watch her arms, she likes to leave herself in a position where after she throws her strike, she can try to utilize that Muay Thai clinch if she chooses to. The problem with that is you're leaving your fucking arms directly in front of a goddamn jiu-jitsu fucking master in Ronda Rousey. And all the fuck she needs is a moment. All she needs is a window of opportunity. And if Gina Carano fights like that, she's gonna give Ronda Rousey every opportunity in the fucking world. So the question then becomes, speaking on Gina Carano, can a tiger change her stripes? Because I would argue if Gina Carano fights her natural fight, she gives Ronda Rousey a much greater opportunity to win that fight. However, if Gina Carano switches it up a little bit and keeps Ronda Rousey at the end of her fucking strikes, utilizes a little bit of footwork, a little bit of spacing, well, we all know Ronda Rousey can't fight worth a goddamn. If Gina Carano comes in and fights like that, it's gonna force Ronda Rousey to sell out, to try to get inside and make something happen. And against a striker like Carano, Ronda Rousey is going to have to eat a few punches to grab her. And history says Ronda Rousey freezes when she gets punched in the fucking face. So there's a lot that can happen in this fight. like the old saying goes, styles make fights. And it's very true. Truth be told, as much as people are always trying to claim that this big upcoming fight is a 50-50 fight because they're trying to sell the fight. Oh, this could go either way. Two great fighters are getting in the ring, and this anything could happen. And they're just trying to sell a fucking fight. They're just trying to sell a fucking fight. I believe this is actually a 50-50 fight. This is actually a 50-50 fight. This fight genuinely could go any which way. And I'm just hoping that this is gonna actually be a fight. Because Jake Paul is promoting the fight. It's being promoted by Most Valuable Promotions. That's Jake Paul's company. Ronda says she reached out to Dana White, but Dana White didn't want no parts of it. Halfway understandable. Dana White don't need it. Dana White doesn't need the circus money. Fuck it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Dana White doesn't need the circus money. Because that's how Dana White looks at it. He looks at this fight like it's a circus. These are two old-ass, retired-ass fighters. One of them hasn't been in the octagon in about 10 years. The other one hasn't been in the octagon in close to 12, 13 years, 14 years. Dana don't need the money. So, not surprised Dana, turned down the opportunity to promote this fight. But the fact that Jake Paul is the one promoting it, it just might be a fucking circus. It just might be a circus. It just might end up being a payday for Ronda and Gina. Which, I don't necessarily have a problem with the circus fights and retired fighters getting the bag. It is what it is. I mean, because how often have we talked about athletes who, when they retire from the sport, they lose all their money and die broke, right? And we talk about how much of a shame that is. Man, what did they do with their money? And that's so unfortunate and blah, blah, blah. But then on the flip side, when you see retired fighters having these exhibition fights, even though the exhibition fights are clearly scripted, now you want to complain that they're turning this sport into a circus. Well, should a retired fighter take 20, 30 million for a circus fight, or should they die broke? Which one is it? You gotta pick a struggle, man. You gotta pick a struggle. But yeah, man, that's my breakdown of this fight. This is the first time I've ever broken down a fight and declared it to be a 50-50 fight. But this genuinely is a 50-50 fight. It's going to come down, like I said in the beginning, it's going to come down to who utilizes their advantages more, who wants it more, who Father Time has been kinder to. and how those styles, those contrasting styles, match up when they come face to face. That's going to really tell the story. That's going to really tell the story. Now, I'll say this. If the fight goes past 2 rounds, that would lean heavily in the favor of Gina Carano. If the fight is over in the first or second round, I would think that would favor Ronda Rousey more than Gina Carano, because it would be much easier for Ronda Rousey or any submission artist to submit their opponent before they really start sweating and, they start getting a little slippery. It starts getting a little harder to put those submission holds on. I believe this is a 50-50 fight. It could go either way. If I absolutely have to choose a winner, because I'm not going to end the video without choosing a winner. If I have to choose a winner, I'm based on what we've seen from these two women in the past, I'm going to choose Gina Carano. So, if y'all want to place your bets on Gina Carano based on the expertise that I have clearly exhibited in the past with my predictions of fights, go ahead, feel free to do so. I probably will myself. All right, so that's my prediction. I believe Gina Carano is more than likely going to win this fight. But I am Kenyatta Black. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to the Black Squad. And like always, remember, bands will make them dance, but these hands will change your face. Deuces.